Okay. Hey guys, welcome to the pre-show. So today on the Hop Upcast, since we've been doing a lot of rankings, we're deciding to do ranking the top 10 reasons we keep coming back. And so right now we're kind of debating that. The first two were super simple, at least in our opinion. Number one was the characters and classes. Number two was mechanics. And so now we're basically going to be going through them. What do we think? So yeah.
So
I mean, I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be top 10 things. It could just be like, I mean, we don't have to stick with 10. It just doesn't need to be like a top 10 video or something.
We could get whatever the number is and then be like, these are the blank things that bring us back.
Right. The battle pass. Got him.
So what about no fall damage? Is that like considered mechanics?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely something like we can make like a sub bullet point here.
Because honestly, that's one of the best things about this game, in my opinion.
Oh.
It's one of those things I love.
Oh. Well, I mean, I don't know. How about this? Right now, we'll put it as its own thing, and then fall damage.
Mm-hmm.
So let's put it as its own thing for now, and then maybe later, if we end up having more than we thought, we'll make it a sub bar for mechanics.
Okay. Another thing in here would be revival. Revive.
Ooh, revive.
Yeah.
Or I guess respawn.
Respawn. Yeah.
Respawn.
Wait. Well, that can be confusing.
Well, no, revive is when you get somebody off the ground. You're reviving
I know, but
them.
If you just say respawn is why we come back,
Yeah.
I'll get it. Respawn is why we come back. Wait. That works on so many levels.
I know. I mean, would skins and stuff like that I guess we could call it unlocks rather than skins, because pretty much all the unlocks are part of the reason why I keep grinding, like getting a new banner, like getting that. I got like ready to strike for Bluthunda, and it's like the snake and there's some grass or whatever. And then I even got like a different pose where instead of him just stalking, now he has like a skull in his hand or whatever. And I'm like, hell yeah. So it's like the unlockables are definitely a huge reason for coming. Because like, I guess a really good example would be like in Fortnite, for instance, you could come back, day in and day out and not technically unlock anything. Although obviously now with the battle pass, but that's neither here nor there. Because even then, the battle pass is made in such a way that you don't really get anything substantial if you have the free version. Like, I think you might get one or two of the skins, but obviously the skins are made to be in the battle pass. So I don't even know if that counts. So this, like, you get, I would argue you get several battle passes worth of unlockables in the game from the launch. And you don't have to spend a fucking dime if you don't want to.
How about for number 6, the stats, the stat tracking?
Ugh. I don't like the stat tracking. I'd have to disagree with you there. I hate the stat tracking.
See, I like it.
I think if it was something you unlocked through gameplay, that'd be cool. But since it's something that's in a loot box, it's stupid. It is a waste of a space for a loot box.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about when you load into a screen and you have your team up there, it shows different stats based on what character you're playing, meaning kills or total.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Total assists.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need to get that from a loot box, though.
Yes, you do.
I think
if I go to my Lifeline, and then I go to my tracker, the only tracker I have unlocked for like Lifeline, for instance, is kills. And then if I was to click on like winning kills or square to unlock it costs money, which is the same thing that you get in a think in a loot box. I've gotten a couple of trackers in a loot box, and it is like the most anticlimactic thing I have ever fucking gotten in a thing. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, what's a good example? I think I have a Gibraltar one. Tracker. Maybe it wasn't Gibraltar. Dang it, I wish there was an easier way of doing this. Oh, I of the Allfather trap scanned. It's like, yay? Like, why do I care how many traps I've scanned? That seems like the most pointless. I mean, basically all that means is that I use L1 often. If that number is huge, then that means I use that often. That's all that means. So like that is a useless thing to unlock. So I unlock that and I'm like, yay. I mean, even if I unlock a white skin, that is still better than unlocking a tracker.
For the record, Patreons, I like the stat tracking.
Right.
So,
I mean, you're completely allowed to have differing opinions. See, now quips. I'm okay with quips. You know, you just say something different. You know, that I would rather have a quip unlock than a freaking tracker. You know, because I guess another thing that's a little confusing is you also have the badges. Now, the badges you have to unlock by actually doing stuff. So, for instance, I have like Baller, own 125 legendary items. Holy crap. I only have 4 legendary items and you need 125.
You're not a baller, bro.
Apparently not. Equip an item equipped an item in every banner slot on 8 different legends. Wow.
That's impressive.
I guess, but that really just means that you either play the game too much or you have too much money to spend. That's really all that says. Own a legendary skin and a legendary finisher for 8 different legends. See what I mean? Like,
but at the same time, we're talking about things that bring us back. So that is something to achieve. So that's something that would bring you back.
Yes, but yeah, this is, I guess I didn't realize how unattainable. Here we go. Long shot down to player from a distance greater than 300 meters. I'm at 104 of this. So, you know, see, and I already have one. I didn't even know that. Oh, sweet. I didn't know I had this already. So, pack victory with a full pre-made squad win a game. Sweet. Equip 2 fully kitted weapons at the same time in a game. Hell yeah. All right, you might Link. You might have how about badges? I will give you badges, but I will not give you trackers. And even then, I feel like that'd be a sub bar of unlocks for sure. I don't think I'd give you a whole solid thing all by itself. Oh, I actually have a couple. I didn't realize this. I feel so good about myself now. Flawless victory 2. Win a game where no one in the squad gets knocked down during the match. Hell yeah, I have to have that one. I'll put that as my number 3. Flawless victory, motherfuckers. Flawless victory.
All right, so
I feel kind of badass now that I'm able to have flawless
why don't
victory.
Why don't we leave that out? Because now I'm looking at the list, right? So leave that one out. Consider that under unlocks, right?
Yes,
because
definitely.
That's something you unlock, right? And then for the last one, let's make it a list of 6. And then the last one, let's say the community.
Sappy much?
I mean, I say what you will, man. Like everybody who's listening to this right now has been super amazing. And
sorry.
Like I'm just being real. I know there are only 3 people that can listen to this, and those 3 people have been amazing. Like
hell yeah, it's
true. It's not like 100 people can listen to this, and I've seen maybe 5 of them. All 3 of those people are consistent.
Although they are getting a little testy. about when is the nighttime version coming out?
Mapcom.
Yeah, I know. He's like well, no, actually, I'm not gay, or Adam, I guess. We'll call him Adam instead of saying his old fucking moniker. But he's been like, guys, when it's coming out, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, sorry, Sir Adam. Sorry. To address that on air rather than just on our Patreon. As far as I know, and I already talked to Nate, and so by the time you're listening to this, maybe he's already responded to you. But I've already talked to Nate and be like, hey, people have questions for you or whatever. But as far as we can handle, as long as like the world doesn't blow up or something happens in our life, we're always going to try to get out the unrated version the day after. So Nerd to the Third comes out on Monday, so we'll have the nighttime version out on Tuesday. The Hop Up Cast comes out on Tuesday, so we'll have it out on Wednesday. And then the Hubcast comes out on Friday, so we'll try to have it out sometime in the weekend. That might be the hardest one to keep consistent because, weekends, life, and everything. So that'll probably be one of the only ones we can't absolutely guarantee.
Yeah, well, the weekends for us are pretty hectic too, because normally our entire Sunday gets tied up with recording.
Ooh. So. Oh yeah. So get off my ass, jeez. Ruin my life.
So I would put that as the final one, the community, and then just end it there.
Well, I'm still looking, okay, Mister. So
if the question is what brings you back, like there are things that are good about Apex, but don't necessarily bring me back. Whereas I agree that all these things are things that make me go, what do I want to play today? Apex sounds fun because of this.
Well,
okay. Let me throw one in here. This is a really weird one that you probably won't agree with. I enjoy it because I have a core of me and two other guys who frequently play games, and this is one of the only games that is like made for trios. So that's something that keeps me coming back to this as opposed to other things.
Okay. So what about squad play and then communities? Because like the squad play is somewhat different than, because like kind of like you that could be the part you bring up about you have two other people that you play with, and this is made for trios. So squad play, I do feel like, is different than like, for instance, mechanics and stuff. Like squad play is like, this is meant to be played as a team, and does that make sense? And that's also different than community because so we'll go
the community is great because when you say community, I think mostly outside of game interaction.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I agree with that. The 7 things that keep us coming
deadly
back.
sins. What is going on here? Hello. Oh, it's because your cursor was in the way, so I was very confused.
I see BAB.
BAB. What the fuck are you talking about? BAB? What does that mean?
Yeah, right below it says, right below where you're typing, it's B, the Patreon and Discord, and then A.
Oh, that's what you mean. Oh, okay, gotcha.
BAB. You don't have to fix it right now. Oh, you're going to it. Oh
yeah, I can't. Yeah. I can't let.
Oh, there we go. We
cannot let that stand, sir.
All right, I'll fix a round table question while you do that.
And I will look real fast for emails. We did get a couple in. See, this is one reason I would like to be able to like pause, because it's like now we're going to be doing business stuff. I don't know if I just want them to be watching us going.
I guess it's the behind the scenes of it,
Yeah. So I know we had one or two that would be good for reader mail. I can't bring that one up because that's negative, and we're not going to talk about that, at least yet. Daddy's got to sleep on it. Topic suggestion. I guess we actually need to save that for Hubcast.
Hey, shout out to you, by the way.
What did I do?
The people watching this are gonna have no clue what I'm talking about, but I'm very proud that you came to me and asked about it, and we talked about it rather than you just responding. And because I feel like that was a very good decision.
I would always do that, and in fact, like, no offense to you or anything, but it's like if I wouldn't have gone to you, I would have gone to Nate. Like I always try to, if I respond to anything in an angrily way, I always try to check with other people to make sure, okay, is this too dickish? Is this just the right amount of dick? You know, do I need to pull back on the dick?
These are the questions you have to go.
These are the important questions. Oh, by the way,
wait, what is going to be, by the way, on top of how much dick to give? Where are you going to go?
It's because I'm looking at the emails. So,
oh, okay.
By the way, speaking of dick and getting more of it, GameCorral.com has contacted me, and I'm gonna have a meeting tomorrow. Would you like to sit in with me tomorrow?
What time?
I don't know. We're still going to be hashing that out. What times of the day are you available?
I can work around you.
Just let me know. I think I'm going to try to do it in between my shifts. So that means it's going to be anywhere between, let's say, 10 a.m. my time to 1 p.m. my time.
Yes. Perfect.
So I will let you know for sure. But Game Corral, basically what they're toting is that they're the #1 Fortnite and Apex merchandise store, and they want to give us a partnership, which basically means that we get like 20% of anything that's sold with like our URL. So I'm like, okay, that doesn't seem too bad. But in the email itself, it makes it sound like it's directed towards streamers, and we're not really streamers. So it's like, I want to have a meeting with these people to let them know we're not streamers, we're podcasters. I don't know if that makes you change your mind or, but I want you guys to know that we're not like huge. We don't have thousands of people. Plus there's literally a line in it that says it's a great way to make money, even if you're a teen. And I'm like, that kind of makes me feel weird. Yeah. Like they're trying to get teens in on it, and I'm like,
they're just mass emailing people. But I'll
true.
I'll sit in on it and feel it out.
Sweet, sounds good. Okay, I think that is good. I was just taking a quick look at everything just to make sure, and I think that is a pretty good list.
I've got one more thing to add to the end of this.
Sweet. Devin, tips and tricks. Here we go. Nick and Nate. It's always great with Nick and Nate. Yeah, that's how he starts his email. That's awesome. Hey guys, my name's Devin. A few episodes ago, I think I heard you say something about not being able to level up the battle pass quick as you need to get everything. I've been playing and I haven't heard or seen anything about, but there is bonus for getting the legends. Yeah, so this is if you click okay, yeah, I've already seen this. See, I don't know why mini rant, it's not going to be a real mean one, I swear, but mini rant, I don't know why people, they seem to do this on the reg, if you will, on the reggy, but like so far, we've gotten a couple of emails where people kind of like I don't know if they didn't listen to the whole thing, but that particular, what he was trying to say about the characters and how you get a boost for the characters, it's like, I know that. And I mentioned that when we were talking about the battle pass, but since it wasn't like a main focus or something, and maybe since you guys are our Patreons and you're the ones that just love us so much, or whatever, maybe you can tell me, did you hear me say that? Because it was kind of, I'll admit, this is me getting all humble on you. I'll admit that it was just pretty much like, I know that you get bonuses for this. And it was like literally that long. Like, I know you get bonuses for this, but it was like, it was still me addressing the fact that I know you get bonuses for playing as different characters, but it's still going to take me forever to unlock everything in the battle pass. But everybody seems to be not hearing that part. So like, was that not obvious enough? Like now that I'm saying it out loud, maybe it wasn't obvious enough, but at the same time, it's also just slightly frustrating, not like, rage inducing, like the other thing I'm not allowed to talk about, but it wasn't as rage inducing as that, but it's still just, I guess enough people have said it. It's like, well, I don't know how much clearer I can talk. Do I need to enunciate? And if I do, let me know so that I can start to enunciate and make sure that all my syllables come out properly. Just saying. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's just one thing that has stuck out to me, is that people keep bringing up the fact that, hey, did you know? As if I didn't, right? Hey, did you know that you could play as different characters and get bonuses? Well, yeah, I know. I've played the game. Like, there's people out there that probably don't know, but the person putting on a podcast is probably one of the people who do. There's my mini rant. Mini rant complete.
Mini.
Hey, my rants can go on for ages, so that is mini.
The rant of ages.
Okay. I think we're good. Let's go ahead and get started for real. So let me go. I got to turn my fan down so it doesn't pick up on the microphone. I'll be right back. 2 seconds. Keep them entertained.
Do you remember?
Don't let me down.
Do you remember back in the day with Fandango, the movie service? They would have that song, Fandango.
That's what I should do.
I don't think he can hear me, but I'm gonna ask him that when he gets back, because I remember that. That was one of my favorite things.
What was?
Back in the day, the movie streaming service, or not streaming service, the movie ticket service Fandango had that one song. Ooh, we got your tickets. Ooh, your movie tickets, Fandango. Do you remember that?
I think vaguely.
Oh man, it was great.
But that's really just being nice. I don't at all.
Well, you said you for some reason fan and down came out. Oh, you're gonna turn your fan down, and for whatever reason,
okay. Trigger. Trigger.
Yeah, I can't believe you don't remember that. It was a bunch of like paper bag puppets, like doing it. And,
right. Yeah.
You have no clue. You have
no freaking clue at all. But I want to feel like I care. I really do.
Yeah, that thing that happened at some point in our lifetime. Get out of here. God damn it.
All right, I'm pulling up Audacity right now. Right meow. Pulling up right meow. Clicking OK right meow.
Seems like you have the audacity to do that.
The audacity.
Yeah, I could have done better there. I'm disappointed.
Audacity. Okay, you got your Audacity running, ready to go. Okay. Recording on 1, 2, 3. 1,
2.
Sweet. Good job.
Yes, it was.
Hail to the king, baby.
Was that like Elvis?
Yeah.
Get out of here, man. I mean, you kind of made it Elvis. You referenced yourself as the king and ended the sentence with baby.
Yeah. But it was Duke Nukem, actually, but it was just a bad impression. So I Hail to the king, baby. I like to chew
bubble
ass,
gum.
Get bubble gum, and I'm all out of ass.
Wow. Suddenly, I want to go play that game. I don't know.
Oh man, it was on sale. It was on sale the other day for like $5 freaking bucks, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. Did you like Duke Nukem Forever?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm definitely one of the few. I feel like one of the very few that actually kind of liked it. And I feel like if anything, it was a time capsule game, because it wasn't a game that was supposed to be made in our generation. However, it somehow got made. So
funded, produced.
Alrighty. I guess what I'll do here is I don't have marks, but I'll put them on the thing here. So let's just try not to curse that much, I guess.
Shit.
God fucking damn it.
Fuck, damn. I mean, I do have Tourette's, so.
What a sorry son of a cunt. Cunt isn't that bad in Australia. I mean, really, our listeners down under won't care that much, because it's like cunt is just bitch to them. Actually, Adam won't give a shit that we say cunt. Sorry.
Why is that
did you say? I can't hear you.
I can't hear you. Wow. Yeah. We went there.
We went there.
The value of free show. When you do the intro, am I supposed to talk right afterwards? So we don't have one of those.
In general, all intros, if I intro you, yeah, I would like you to then intro yourself. Yes.
In general, I'd love you to do your job. That would be fucking helpful for me.
Do something instead of guys just sitting there for a fucking hour. Just, that's an inside joke. You guys don't understand. Oh God, dang! I didn't realize how far up I was gonna have to scroll up. Okay, we got Mav Cop. I think he was the first one. No, he was not. How far back do I need to go?
What are you talking about?
Okay, I think I found the first one.
With what?
There's pretty okay styles. Oh no, that wasn't it. Okay, so I think Mav Cop was the first one. The date that I just went on was with Bluthunda. Okay. So that we'll save that for last, but I just wanted to have it up so that when I unlock my phone, it's boom right there. All right.
Are we actually going to read those?
Yeah. Well, I thought that's what we were doing this episode.
Well,
we're doing that. We're reading the episodes and then telling the question for the next time.
Those are long, man. Those are intimidating.
That's okay.
This is the kind of thing you see and you just hope the teacher doesn't look at you.
All right. Damn it, fucking whore. I thought you had Tourette's. Shit, fuck, cock. Oh, I love that one Blink-182 song. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cock, sucker, motherfucker, shit, tart, turn, twat. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cock, sucker, motherfucker, shit, tart, turn, twat. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cock, sucker, motherfucker, shit, tart, turn, twat. I fucked your mom. Bam. That's not nearly as good as the classic. I wanna fuck a dog in the ass. He wants to fuck a dog in the ass. Could only find your mom.
Can we just
and her ass?
Can we just clip that?
Right. That's the ad that's going on for our entire thing. Oh man.
That's our intro.
That's our intro right there. Just stop right now. There is no more gold to be made from this. Panning any more gold would just really amount to nothing.
I like suck it Trebek's answer for the record. I want to read this.
One thing before we get started, what is your record volume at? Because that was the one thing we wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I adjusted that.
Okay, cool. Never mind then.
Yeah, I had it at 0.6, I believe, so it's up to 0.87 currently.
Yeah, I think it's just because you got a real mellow tone, whereas like me, I can have mine further down because like my voice is just very like, "Hi everybody."
Here's a question on Audacity. Do you know how to keep the overall recording volume at the same level to where it doesn't bounce back and forth? Do you have
I don't.
How to do that?
I would love to know that.
Oh, that would be helpful.
That'd be awesome to know, because I know there's some way of doing it.
Yeah, I would hope,
and see, I've tried normalize, which if you Google it, normalize is like the main one that they talk about, and that doesn't do anything, because still, like if I start talking like this and I can look at my wavelengths and they're not that big, but if I normalize, They might go up like a little bit, but not enough where they equal to the rest of my wavelength, my normal. Here's my normal voice right here. I am talking in my normal voice, and the wavelengths themselves are going up about halfway to, the peak, basically, which is about as far as I can get your mom to go.
God, this is fun. You ever heard a guy narrate his own wavelengths as he's creating them?
And this is me peaking. I am peaking.
I am
peaking. Why is it in the red? We gotta get started.
Holy shit, dude.
All right. Legendary. What's up, legends? And welcome back to the third ever Hop Up Cast, your bonus Apex Legends cast. Today, I am your host, Nick, and here with me is Link.
What's up, guys?
Nate could not join us because he's a douchebag. And he's not here to defend himself, so that automatically in the rules of internet makes it a fact. So Nate is a douchebag. You've heard it here first.
I believe it. And
you didn't even need to pay $1 for the late night edition for that. That one's free. We got to give you the first taste for free. And if you want, you can go to Ep.3 Productions on Patreon and get even more late night kind of stuff that you can get. But that one, that's just for you guys.
Nice.
So thank you guys for joining us. You can go to Apex Legends Cast on Twitter or Apex Legends Hubcast at gmail.com and write into us. Give us some tips and tricks. We'll read them on air. I have a really good one I would love to talk about right now because it's almost like, oh my God, but I'm going to save it for the Hubcast proper because it's a good one. I'm like, oh, dang, man. It's real good. I like it. You can also go to TX3 Productions on Twitter, and that is our production company, ThreadX3 Productions, and that's where we have a lot of stuff going on. We might even talk a little bit about it at the end of this show. We'd like to maybe do a little business talk at the end of this show. So, all right, let's get started. Maybe just some stories, what have you been up to, boy?
Me personally, unfortunately, for the last 2 days, I haven't gotten to play Apex Legends. By choice, though, because the last venture I took into Apex Legends, I played 5 games on PC, which is an interesting venture. If you've ever done, as I'm sure you have, solo runs for just 5 or 6 straight, you get to meet some interesting characters. Mm-hmm. The first game we got second place. Total of 7 kills between the team. I think I had 2. I was lifeline. Everything was going well. We just got out-rotated at the end, and I dealt with that. Every other game after that was just a toxic slugfest that kind of just drug it down for me. So I'm hoping after we record this, I'm going to go play some more. And
you should play it on the PS4, and we can go together.
Yeah, that may be an option. I've considered that because I have the Battle Pass on the PC, and I considered just buying it on my PlayStation because that would be the second most place I play. So
you're gonna give Respawn a double dip?
Yeah,
you never double dip the chip.
Well, you do if you're the only one using the dip.
That's true. That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been a little busy the last couple of days, so I haven't gone deep into it, but luckily it's been more positive lately, which I'm so glad because I had a really bad, kind of like you, and then actually the last Hubcast, Nate kind of talked about his negative experience. So now lately I have been feeling a little bit better as far as just my skills overall. I'm still not going to, go in one-on-one with Ninja or Shroud or something like that and then come out, victorious. However, it's I'm feeling a lot better about myself. And there's even some drills that I can start doing and start limbering myself up. So I'm all right, let's I'm starting to feel good about it, which is, I feel like what happened to me is like I really got inside my head about just like, oh, you're trash. And just, it was really hard for me to like get myself to play the game because it was just, and then coming back and being able to have a couple of really good matches and a couple of not so good matches, but like they didn't matter as much because I could see an improvement. I was like, okay, it's like I'm not trash. It's just I was having an off, couple of days or something. And so it made me feel so much better about myself, like so much more confident in just my overall ability to, report on Apex Legends. Cause that was one thing that was really getting to me. I was like, should I even do this anymore? Like, depression is a horrible thing. If anybody has depression, you'll understand, there'll be certain things that like you're not even really depressed about, but like your depression will like latch onto it. And that's the worst thing about depression is that like you can just have this one little thing that really doesn't matter, but your depression will latch onto that and it'll fixate, and plus like I have really bad ADD. And actually like one thing that I found out maybe a year and a half ago to 2 years ago now is there's actually some studies out there. Like the main thing about like ADD that a lot of people associate with it is that people have a really hard time focusing. And so that's what, like, if you have ADD, then you can't focus on things. Inside joke. I looked off to the left, so but you can't focus on things. But in some cases, you actually can do the exact opposite where you focus too much on something. And so I feel like I was having one of those things where I was focusing so much on the fact that like I was horrible at the game that I let that kind of consume my life for a couple of days. And it was just a really bad place. And so, like I said, to come back to the game, after a little bit of a break and to have a really fun time with it, like I was relieved because there was a part of me that was scared, like terrified that I was going to go back. I was going to be just as bad as before. And then I was just going to spiral back down because obviously the whole point of taking that break was to kind of give myself levity, like just kind of give myself a little room where I could just like not feel the gaping pressure and so I was terrified that when I came back, if I sucked again, would that just get me to spiral back down? If I spiraled, would I spiral back to where I was or further? And that could be scary. That could be really scary because it's like, I know how far down I went. Can I go further? I don't want to go further. And thank God, I feel so much better about the situation. I feel so good about that. And I feel like that's a really good segue into our topic of the week, which is the top things that keep us coming back to the game. Like what keeps us from just moving on to the next fad or moving on to the next thing. Like Division 2 came out. I played a little bit, but I didn't like mainline it as much as I thought I was going to. And so, like, what keeps us coming back here?
So real quick before we jump into that, I actually have a follow-up question on kind of your wrap up there, because that's really inspirational to me, right? Because while I don't feel I suffer from depression, I do get in slumps, as I imagine everybody does, where it just feels like I don't want to do this because I don't want to be bad, like you said. Yeah. And so just a kind of a side question that one of my friends asked me, and I know this can be different for everybody, but I'm just strictly curious about you. When it comes to Apex in specific, would you rather have a game where you have 10 kills and get 5th place, or have a game where you get 1 or no kills and win the game?
That's a good question.
The reason I ask is,
that's a really good question.
It would speak a lot to, I think, what you consider to be bad, right? Because what you've told us is, I was doing bad, I came back, I felt a lot better, I was scared about being bad. So is that something where you fear being bad and the fact that you're not winning the game and you feel that's bad, or personally to yourself, you're not performing to the level you think you should?
Well, I don't know. It is kind of a combination of those because Well, I guess let's put it this way. When I did come back, I was able to secure 3 victories. One of the victories, I only got 1 kill, and that didn't necessarily feel less than when I got 7 kills for the next victory. So, I mean, in that, however, I think what happened to me, at least when I spiraled, what happened to me is I had so many in a row where, like, not only did I get no kills, I also didn't survive that long. And so what really got me spiraling was like I want to get I have the I have the desire to get better at the game and to um I have the desire to get better and to further my skills. So I wanted to. It wasn't like, oh, I don't want to play this stupid game or anything like that. Where was I going with that? Damn it. Got distracted. I honestly, I lost my chain of thought.
Where do you want to start back from?
Oh no.
We can start back from the question where I asked the question.
No. I just gotta find where it is.
Sorry to throw you off. It just randomly popped in my head.
No. Shit. What was I just saying? What was the last thing I was saying? Something about. See, I can't remember. Damn it.
The last thing I remember was you were talking about you would have games where you were doing both poorly. You weren't performing and you weren't winning.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have the desire to get better at the game, but then how do I get better at the game if I can't play the game? And so I would keep going in over and over again to try to get better at the game, but then I just physically couldn't get better at the game. So like I said, I think it was just having a really off couple of days, whether it be, physical, mental, I don't know what the hell it was, but, it was just hard to get better because, I just couldn't actually physically play the game. I'd drop in, I might get a couple of shots off, but it wasn't like anything substantial enough to do anything about it. So I guess, does that answer your question?
It does. Because for me personally, just to kind of answer it, and when he asked me what I said, I think for me, getting more performance out of me individually is more of a mark for me, because I look at it as, if I had an 8-kill game and came in 5th, well, we may have made a tactical error that led to that, or we may have just gotten super unlucky, because there is RNG in the game, right?
Oh yeah,
but
right.
If I'm aiming and hitting my shots, I know I can go into the next queue and replicate that. Whereas on the flip to that, for me, if I got a win because of good RNG, the next game, if I was missing my shots that last game on the win, I'm still going to be missing my shots on the next game when I might not get the good RNG. So I was just curious on your philosophy on that, if you will.
Yeah, I feel like even so for instance, the game I did get only 1 kill in, I want to say I was a lifeline. So I was at least contributing, because I feel like this is the one battle royale that you can just contribute to and still, feel satisfied. So I was throwing down my heal drone. I was throwing down my care package. I think I revived once or twice, and so I at least felt like I was contributing, even though I only got the 1 kill and the other guy got like literally 10, and then the other got like 3 or 4, I believe. So like I was obviously the lowest on the totem pole, but I did still feel like I contributed because I was a support character. I was going in there in the fray, reviving them, and then they could do their thing and slay. That's their thing. Right. They can slay, and that's totally cool. Whereas I was able to kind of be there for support or whatever, and then the one where I was 7, I was the top kill. I was the top killer. And I'm like, oh, I've never done that before. And so that kind of feeling was like a really good feeling. And yeah, I don't want to be repeating myself too much, but yeah, that was it was a really good feeling to come back to the game and be like, okay, cool. All right. So now that my perfect segue was completely ruined, let's go. The top things that keep making us come back. So let's start with number 7, and we're going to start it off super cheesy, some nice Velveeta cheese, and that's the community.
Aw, that was
Right?
so sweet.
Wasn't it?
So this one I actually would put towards the top of the list, but we don't want to come off as super sappy or like pushing it in any way.
Mm-hmm.
But in all honesty, I'm someone who uses a lot of social media platforms around games that I play heavily, like Apex or Overwatch or League, and that includes Reddit. And for me, the community experience between Reddit, Twitter, our Discord, and a couple of other Discords have been just so far better than other experiences. And I don't know why that is, but for whatever reason, I heard another person coin this term to where this is the nicest community out of any competitive FPS he's ever seen. Right.
Oh,
If you
wow.
go into like a Call of Duty community, or if you go into like an Overwatch community, right? These are all toxic people. Now, granted, these games have been out for longer. People have been more frustrated. They all have ranking systems, which can get players frustrated. But for whatever reason, at least at the start of this community, it seems way better. And it's something that brings me back because I'll play a game like Overwatch, right? I'll get cussed out on mic and told all sorts of horrible things. And I'll be like, well, I don't really want to deal with this today. I'm just going to go play a game where I know this won't happen. I'll slide into Apex, and worst case scenario, somebody says something and I just mute it. And that's it. So that's kind of nice for me anyway.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. On the more sappy side of things, it was when we were talking about the battle pass, we got super negative, but then at the end, we tried to end it on a positive note. And, it's still true to this day where like the one thing that's good about Apex, or one of the best things. So you're right. This could have been at the top, but it might have come off too sappy. But one of the best things about Apex right now is that it has given us this platform. Never have I ever had a platform where I had this many people who were interested in what we have to say, what we want to say. And then to have that same community also go to our Discord, like you were talking about. And now we're talking about movies. We're talking about, somebody just went and saw Shazam or whatever. And it's like, well, great. That's awesome. And so we have a conversation about that. Or, what's another really good, our music. We have a music thing where we just throw up music suggestions, and so far we haven't had like a music go up and then somebody's just like, that's trash, why do you listen to that? No, it's actually very positive. And so that's just our community. But then I do have to agree with you that so far, other than the assholes like us who complained about the battle pass when it came out, other than that, the community in general is pretty positive. The only thing I'd say negatively is that you do have your people who do it for a living, and those seem to be the people who are harping on the it's getting stale. But right. I find that hard to listen to because it's like you play this game for 4 hours a day, maybe even 8 hours a day, several days a week. It's like, of course you're going to be burned out right now. Right. That's almost inevitable. I feel like that's your problem as a time management rather than the game itself.
Well, and that's less than 1% of the community, right?
Exactly.
But to your point, like the community is great because without it, I don't know you, you don't know me, right?
Right.
And we've become friends who talk somewhat regularly about stuff way other than Apex, whether it be, like you said, a movie coming out or how your opinion is wrong and I'm right, because that's just how it works out. Yeah. Whatever it may be, right? That wouldn't have happened had it not been for Apex. So I owe a lot to it. And for me, that's just one of the best parts. So
yeah, it's just like the best.
I know. The
best.
It's so hard.
Number 6 is squad play. I know there's a lot of people out there, and I, to a certain extent, agree that, they want solos and duos, and to a certain degree, like I said, I do agree. Every once in a while, especially after having like 3 or 4 just really bad rolls with the randos, I would think to myself, yeah, I would love to just go in by myself and play the game. So I do understand that. However, one thing that does keep me coming back is the squad play, is the fact that this is meant to be played with other people, and does it always work out in your favor? Of course not. But I'd like to think of it as how it should be rather than how it usually turns out, because how it should be played is with a squad, with your buddies, or even just with people who are goddamn competent.
Sounded a little angry there.
No, I just had something in my throat. I think it's heartburn. It's fine now.
That's weird.
But no, that is one thing that definitely keeps me coming back, because yes, you have squad play in Fortnite. Yes, you have squad play in PUBG and all these other things, but and we'll come back to this later, hint, hint, wink, wink. But the squad play does also play with the fact that there are different classes. And so, like I said, the other day I had 1 kill, but I still felt like I was contributing because I was lifeline, because I was helping out in some sort of way. You can't get that same feeling. You get very similar feelings. I'm not going to try to degrade that opinion whatsoever. You do get similar feelings from like reviving somebody in a really hectic situation in PUBG. You do get similar, but it's different from when like somebody's life is like hanging in your balance and you throw out your lifeline drone and you heal them all the way back up to 100% health. And then, like it's different. And it's not necessarily like better or whatever. I'm not trying to say your PUBG sucks or anything. I'm just saying it's different, and it's definitely one of the reasons why I come back is playing with a squad.
Well, and I think it caters to another audience that is a trio, as opposed to like a 2-man, a 4-man, or a solo, to where a lot of games when they release, i.e. Fortnite, don't have trio modes, right? And even to this day, I still believe they don't have a consistent permanent trio mode. So it's for me personally, I've got 2 friends that I love playing with, and we always either had to take on a random or have someone sit out or just not play that game because of the limitations in numbers. But now that there's one with 3 people, it kind of works out. So that's something I appreciate.
Yeah, definitely. All right, you want to do number 5?
I would love to do number 5. So number 5 was something we had a lot of discussion about, but overall, we're just going to label it
overall as, you won. Congratulations.
Thank you. Always the victor. Overall, we're going to label it as unlocks, and we mean a lot of things by this. We mean anything that you can basically unlock by playing the game more. We consider a reason to keep coming back, right? Because it's something that keeps us going and keeps us motivated to play. Right. We had a quite at large discussion about badges, for instance, in the pre-show, talking about what we had achieved and stuff. And I believe Nick was even pulling up his account and going, "What? I won that? I didn't know that. That's awesome. I'm the best ever. I'm going to equip that." And stuff like that is to me is reason enough to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the way I put it in the pre-show, patreon.com/threadx3 productions, the way I put it in the pre-show is, I guess I'm saying it right now, so why would they want to go to anyway, let's not focus on that.
Plug was like, great.
We were talking, and the way I look at it is that the game itself has like a couple of battle passes worth of stuff to unlock at the beginning of the game. It has, because even like Fortnite, when it first came out, you had all the default skins and that was it. And then the battle pass came out, you had to pay money for it, or between the game launching as a battle royale and getting their first official battle pass or whatever, they had plenty of skins, but you had to buy them all. There was no way of unlocking them, unless you got Save the World and you grinded out V-Bucks there. But even then, how expensive they were, you'd be grinding forever in order to actually get enough to maybe get like a really cool skin or something.
Right.
So it's different in this one because no other, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm absolutely okay with being wrong, but no other game lets you unlock stuff as you go. All games have kind of adopted the Fortnite formula, which is, here's the store place, here's all the things you can get, or here's a loot box, or here is the battle pass. Obviously that's a huge thing, but none of them have really come out. I think maybe now that I'm thinking about it, I think PUBG might have some type of an unlock system, because I know you get like coins and stuff, but that might be the same thing where, like I said, it's a loot box, and which is obviously the same as Apex. I guess I don't want to discount that at all. But like this compared to Fortnite, which, if I'm being honest, Fortnite, H1Z1, Realm Royale, those are the only ones I really have to compare this to. In particular, Realm Royale and Fortnite are the only ones I know for a fact that you can't get anything unless you pay, for the most part. I mean, obviously you got some free stuff that you get if you just play through the battle pass and you didn't buy it. Obviously there is some of those stuff, but none of them are like real substantial things. And obviously that's the way they're formulated. I do know H1Z1. I do know if you level up and, you do get some kind of a loot box there too. So I guess like I'm completely messing up my entire point right now, because I've slowly started to realize that I'm wrong, but at least I'm doing that and not somebody in an email or somebody in a tweet going, actually, sir. So haha, I beat you to it, sirs and our madams. But yeah, but I guess it's the volume as well. It's the volume of stuff that we can unlock, because I know there's plenty of stuff you can unlock in like H1Z1, PUBG. Those are the only other two ones I can really think off the top of my head. But it's the volume, and it's also just like how cool some of the stuff is, like the gun skins and like finishers, like even though I've noticed not a lot of people use them, it's still cool to have. And it's cool to have that kind of mark, so to speak. Like even the banner. A banner is a really good example. A banner I unlocked for Blafunda was like the snake one, so it has the snake and some grass. And then I unlocked his pose where he's like holding the skull. So I have a snake around me, and I'm in some grass, and I'm holding this skull out, and I'm like, rah, to be or not to be? That is the question.
Wow. Do you do that every time?
Yeah,
or
every time I start a match, I'm just like, should I even be here? Like, what is in a name? Huh? That's right, Julia. So yeah, that is unlocks. Number 4 is respawning. We had to put the ing because we realized if we just put respawn, you guys might think that we're talking about the company. No, but respawning. I feel like the fact that other people are trying to copy it and put it into their games is a real good indication that it's a really good idea. You know what I mean?
It's a fun mechanic that, admittedly, once I heard about it, because my story with Apex Legends is obviously it released one day out of nowhere. Suddenly it was here. And I didn't play it for the first 3 or 4 days. I was playing Fortnite pretty hard, and I saw it on the front page of Xbox and saw some articles about it, but didn't really touch it. Then I started watching videos, and I realized there was respawning in it, and I was super critical of it, because to me, I hear respawns in a squad-based battle royale game, and that scares me. That almost triggers me. It almost upsets me. But respawning is actually such a feat in this game to me.
Right.
It's very rare that I go down and fully die and actually get respawned. I'd say it's probably like at about 5 to maybe 10% of the time that actually happens. So it's such a cool and rare instance that it makes it really fun to play for. and to play too. It almost motivates you in like a superhuman way if for some reason you're the last member on your squad and you're going against the last member of their squad, because you understand if I kill them, we all come back. Like I've got to clutch this. And even though there's still, 30 something people left, that's your clutch moment. And that's awesome for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it is the feeling of like picking up someone's banner, going to this place, it's this tense moment where you're like, I hope nobody comes up. I hope I'm going to be able to. I mean, and there's also some camaraderie there because it's like these people don't have any guns. They're starting anew essentially. So there's a little bit of camaraderie. You're like, hey, grab this or something. There's been a couple of times I've had to like throw down a weapon for somebody because there hasn't been any weapons around. So I'm like, you know what? I've been mainly using this, flat line. So I'm going to throw down the other thing I have. I'll keep using the flat line because that's what I'm more comfortable with. And you can have the, I don't know, the like R3 101 or whatever. You can have that. I'll stick with the flat line for now or whatever. And so I've had a couple of moments like that, with obviously probably different guns or whatever, but I've been like, hey, take this gun. Here's a move on Queef. You go ahead and take this. You'll be fine. Don't even worry about it. But it's this moment of camaraderie where it's like, okay, we got to get you back up to speed. Okay. So the only thing I will point out one tiny negative. There's one time, and I hope they kind of fix this. I don't know if they can, or if it's something anybody thinks needs to be fixed, but I personally do. But anyways, one thing is like, there's one time somebody got to the banner, they got it to respawn me. It started the countdown. The dropship came over and was just about to switch to first person so that I would be dropping down. Then the guy got killed and we lost the match. I feel like once the dropship's there, that should be me respawning. And so then I should have had at least the chance. Obviously, I probably would have died right off the bat, obviously, but I should have at least had the chance to drop back down and see if I could clutch something, because that would have been super fun. But since it was right before that, cutoff or something, and I don't even know like if it would have went into first person, is that what the cutoff is? Or is it like you literally have to be jumping out of it in order to, count as, okay, you're back in the game, and it won't just immediately, fail the whole thing? I don't know. Like, if anybody knows that, honestly, let me know, because like I don't think I've been respawned and in that exact same situation enough times to know for sure.
I agree with you. I do think it should be whenever you see the dropship coming, because that's you, right?
Yeah, that's
like
me.
You're
that's
already there.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense that all of a sudden you're not there whenever that person dies. So I do agree with you. I think now the more I talk about it, obviously our focus here is respawning. Overall, if I had to add like a second title to that, I would just say clutch moments and the ability to actually make a difference. Because like if you're in a game like Fortnite, and unless you're like one of these stellar kids who plays 10 hours a day and can outbuild anybody, right? If you get a kill on somebody and your whole squad's dead, it's kind of like, oh, there's still 30 people left. And if they don't know you, there's a high chance that they're just going to leave and go to the next queue where they can have a chance at actually being there for the victory. So this kind of has them rooting for you. And it's a really good positive for me.
Yeah. And I think that kind of goes along with the camaraderie as well, because instead of just getting out of a match, even if it's just my death box, instead of just getting out of the match, which is obviously what you do in anything else, it does kind of give you an excuse to just stick around and hope that they do good. Hope that they do get your banner. Then if they die, then you just immediately get out. So yeah, it's definitely kind of moments like that. So number 3. You want to do that one?
I do. Number 3, we have no fall damage. So I actually brought this one up because for me, it's such a nice thing to let go of mentally whenever you're playing a video game, to not have to worry about real life physics. So when you
I don't
land,
play games for physics. Go back to the real world.
Exactly. So So when I play, I'm a very strategical player because I may not always have the best reactions or whatever. So I'll try to choose my landing point based on what I think can get me an advantage. And a lot of times that's landing on the edge of a mountain or something and jumping straight off into a landing zone to where I know I can get down faster that way, or flank somebody to where they didn't see me gliding in. They didn't see me actually coming behind the building. You know, to me, it provides a lot of outplay potential, which is something I really like. So I put no fall damage up there.
Yeah. And I mean, it is something that now playing it, you just almost don't even think about it. But then if I would go back to like, you know, Fortnite is obviously the best example. Let's say I build up, you know, 9 tiles up into the stairs or something, and then I just drop, I would die. And I guarantee you, if I ever go back to Fortnite, which probably won't happen, or if I ever go to another battle royale, that's probably one of the first things I'll do instinctively. And then I die and I'll be like, wait, what?
Right. But I love their choice of not making it to where you have a slow descent to like brace yourself. It's just physics are out the window.
Yep.
Your body can handle this. Drop as far as you want. You won't take any damage.
Right.
That's what I love. Just the boldness of it.
Definitely. So then number 2 reasons that we keep coming back. Excuse me, I had to burp. Is mechanics. And this goes along with almost everything we've already been talking about. Technically it goes along with squad play, it goes along with unlocks, respawning, no fall damage, but really it's the feel of the game, the way it feels when you aim down sights, the way it feels when you mantle up something or you scramble up something, the way you slide. You know, I was thinking to myself, it's like, I'm so excited for Borderlands 3. I can't wait to play Borderlands 3, but dear God, if it doesn't have mantling, I will hate it. No, I'll love it. I'll probably still absolutely love it. But it's one of those things, it's like, okay, like without a or with a game that doesn't have mantling, or with a game that doesn't have good mantling, really good example is I started playing Fallout New Dawn when it first came out. And the first thing I noticed is that the slide is not good enough and the mantle is very picky. Like it only lets you mantle in very specific areas that it decides it's okay to mantle in. And going from Apex to New Dawn and not being able to like slide downhill and it makes me go faster, or being able to kind of scramble up something and then there's so many like specific areas that I have to mantle up, and it's so frustrating because it's like, just scramble up the thing for God's sake. And so there's just little things like that it's like with this game and the way it handles itself and the way that you're able to like just fluidly move throughout the world, because like I even think like of a real world situation. If I wanted to get up a wall, I wouldn't just go and then reach my hands up like, mommy pick me up, no, if I was going, I'd get a running start, I'd scramble a little bit and try to grab, it's kind of like Ninja Warrior, right? Ultimate Ninja Warrior. They have that big like 19-foot wall, and you're supposed to scramble your way up it and then grab the top. That's what you would do in a normal situation. But instead, in any other game, if it's any higher than like an inch above your head, too bad, you can't mantle up it.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think the mechanics in this game overall make the game more fun. More fun, is that correct? I think it is, right?
More funner is the proper terminology.
More funnerist.
Yes, exactly.
It becomes more funnerist, the game does, because of the mobility you achieve by sliding and jumping. And when you actually outplay somebody with that mobility, it feels way better than any other game I've played.
Yes.
And certain other games are all about what their mobility is vertically. Obviously, I'm talking about Fortnite at this point. This game is what you're actually doing on the ground, boots on the ground, sliding around, getting behind somebody, but not in a convoluted style, but in a way that you could believe could happen, right?
Yeah.
I know I just said throw physics out the door. That's fun. But at the same time, I want to actually feel like, yes, I can do this, and it doesn't feel cheap or cheesy. It just feels like I outclassed somebody because I was better than them.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, yeah, it's just the way it feels. It's the way everything molds together, whether it be the individual mechanics, whether it be the guns themselves, the way they handle, the way the attachments handle, everything mechanically about this game is so sound and so well put together that, you know, it's so easy to come back to this game because it's so addicting in a way, you know. And we maybe have been down the last couple episodes because, you know, with Battle Pass came out, we were a little negative about that. Even the last episode, we might have been a little negative just because we had some negative reviews. And so I felt like this was the perfect way to like come back and be like, hey guys, just listen, we still like the game, okay? And the number one reason why we still like the game are the characters in the classes. The characters in the classes is the number one thing about the game in general, if we're being honest. Mechanics is obviously a extremely close second. But characters and classes is one of the main things about this game that sets it apart. Now, granted, if the characters and classes weren't a part of this, the mechanics would still, I feel like, be enough to propel it above a lot of the other ones, because even the mechanics of sliding, mantling, yada 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 would still make it a better game than like Blackout, for instance. Blackout, you know, it has really good, it's basically the better version of PUBG is what a lot of people try to compare it to. But then this would be a better version of Blackout, in my opinion, because of the sliding, because of the mechanics itself. So the fact that then it has an extra, you know, reason to keep coming back, which is the characters and classes, makes it even better than Blackout, because now you get to master these characters, and not only the characters in the sense of classes like here, but their characters in like the things they say, the way they react to stuff, you know, their quips and everything. It's just really freaking awesome.
Yeah, obviously, for a game to succeed in a character-based environment, there has to be a lot of diversity. And the best thing you can achieve as a game is being out for 2 months and people are already hardcore mains of one character, right? And will back that character up in arguments. So as an example, I'm a big Lifeline fan. I consider myself a Lifeline main, and if that is open, 90% of the time I'm picking Lifeline.
Oh yeah.
I have a friend who is also a Lifeline main, and we constantly have to have that back and forth struggle. And whenever we play, it just comes down to whoever picks first. And so for me, that's great, right? Because you have a community who is already behind these characters, and as you start introducing more, you're going to get more and more backing into the characters. So yeah, I realized it after it came out. Giggity.
Hey, that was another giggity.
Hey,
came out.
But for me, the fact that the characters bring such life to the game, such discussion to the game, and such diversity to every single match, to where it's not the same, right? It's not just the typical Soldier A running in and sliding past people.
Running in.
Right. Right. I was gonna leave that shade there and just like let it, but you fully expanded the umbrella. So anyway, I think that makes the game better in my opinion.
And I mean, you can speak a little bit more to this because you actually went to PAX East, but the fact that like these characters are so, you know, iconic in a way that we already have a ton of people like cosplaying them. You know, like how many people cosplayed as like League of Legends and probably Dota, I guess, are really good examples that people like to cosplay as them. And the fact that like I feel like there's already that admiration for the Apex characters really goes to show you just how important they are to the game.
To add on to that, I would say at PAX East, my experience was for Apex Legends, there were tons and tons of cosplayers, but one of the great comparisons, obviously, to Apex Legends in every aspect has been Fortnite. And so the cosplays of Fortnite, there were probably 3 total skins that I saw from Fortnite that got cosplayed by hundreds of people.
Oh God.
Whereas every character had a phenomenal cosplay from Apex. You see the difference to where Fortnite is popular for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 skins.
That's very
whereas
true,
Apex only has 8 or 9 characters, and they are so loved already. Even the ones that I would consider bad, like for me personally, the worst character in the game is Caustic.
Hell
and
yeah.
There are people who will tell you straight up Caustic is the best thing to happen to this world since sliced bread, and they will back it up and they will fight you. They will physically get in an altercation with you at PAX East. I'm saying this because it occurred. They will physically get in an altercation with another person because they are just that passionate about it. And while I don't condone the fighting and stuff, that's great to me. That really shows a community, going back to number 7, that cares about the game and that wants the game to continue and move forward in the best way possible for the game.
I will have to say, as much as I hate Caustic and I think he's trash, I do have to say that's like the only character I could get away with cosplaying as, because like I'm a kind of bigger guy, I'm a little heftier, so I can't get away with Wraith, for instance. I couldn't get away with
aren't you?
I could maybe get away with like Lifeline if she has been on a donut binge for the last 8 months, but like Caustic is probably the one I could cosplay. And obviously, I said obviously, but I meant to say honestly. Honestly, I'm actually considering doing it because it's like, I've always wanted to do something like that, but I've just never really had the opportunity to, or the desire to. But Caustic is something I'd like to really cosplay as, because I'm a little hefty. The only thing is I'd probably have to get like prosthetic chin hair because I can't grow one myself. but also the other problem is I would love to be Gibraltar, but then we're running into the Moana situation where people would be mad at me because I'm having to either brown my skin or be a white version of it and be like, oh my god, whitewashing.
I know a lot of you guys can't always see the camera, obviously, but trust me, it was worth it just for that one scene. And that scene, yeah.
In this. Anyways, so although, does Gibraltar turn white when he does the World War II skin? Because if he turns white doing that, I could totally do that.
Yeah, then it's fair play.
Then it's fair play. But anyways, yeah, the characters. I mean, the characters is the number one reason. And I mean, I really feel like it's a 1-2 punch. Number 1 is characters and classes, and number 2 is mechanics. Because, like I said, without characters and classes, the mechanics, I feel like, and this is definitely up for debate, obviously, but I feel like the mechanics alone and how smooth they are and just how well put together they were, the mechanics alone were enough to make this a step above certain games. And so just adding in the characters made it 2 steps above. And just the characters, and just all the different classes, all the different personality, even just there's personalities in the finishers, there's personalities in the banners, there's personality in the quips, obviously. There's just so much personality. And that's before you even get to what they do. Lifeline, she's a healer. But before you get to that, there's so much about Lifeline you can understand. And I would compare it to something like Overwatch. Necessarily they don't have these 5-7 minute long mini episodes or something just about each character, but just with the massive amounts of different poses, different quips and everything, you really get a good idea about the character and what this person stands for, or what they even do, because like Lifeline, she's going to have more lines that are medic based, and Bluthunda, she is going to have more lines that tell you that she is or he is a tracker, and so there's so much about the characters in just everything about them. And so they did so good with that that's definitely number one, but like I said, super close tie there as far as those two things. We're gonna go ahead and mark it there. So we're almost an hour in.
If you want, I'll just kind of make a real smooth transition. I can read the one that I liked aloud and say.
Do you want to just choose the winner rather than going through each one of them?
Right. That's what I'm.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sure. We can do that.
I like the Suck It Trebek one. I have a reaction on it. It's literally the first one you come across from the bottom. It's
from the bottom. Okay.
It's a little bit longer. It says, "So boy, do I have a story for you guys." So I could read through that real quick. I could do the.
Hold on. I guess I don't want to be biased by any means, but who won the first one? It was. I guess it was something with a D, wasn't it?
It was the one right above it.
Okay. Like I want to, in a way, I want to be fair, but at the same time, if you keep coming up with good things, like I don't. But just in case it was the same person, I wanted to second think it and read it myself so that I could, or reread it myself so I could. But yeah, okay, I can agree with that. Okay. All right. So I mean, that's our top reasons why we keep coming back to this game and why we love it. I felt like it was a really good topic of the week because, like I said, we might be a little bit negative sometimes, but we really want to make sure you guys know that, hey, we do like the game. That's why we continue to talk about it. That's why we continue the podcast and everything. We do like the game. And so I felt like that was a perfect way to kind of get back into, some real positive vibes. Speaking of positive vibes, you guys should totally check out our Discord. Discord, for anybody who's out there, is always pinned to the top of our comment. Our comment will always be the latest episode of Apex Legends Hubcast. If you click on that, and there's always two tweets, always, because the top tweet is, hey guys, the next episode's out. Here's what we talk about in it. And then the one attached to that will always be the Discord link, the Spotify link, the iTunes link, all the links that you can have, or all the links to the different channels you get it from, the Pocket Cast, the Overcast, any of the different podcast services. That's where the links are. And the top one of all those links is always the Discord. So you can go to the Discord and you can be a part of what we call the Legends of the Round Table. Nate, or I almost said Nate. Oh my goodness. Hi, Nate. How you doing? He just joined us out of nowhere.
Hey, how are you?
Link,
you like my beard?
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness. It's so glorious. Link, would you like to take it from here?
I would. So for you guys who haven't been blessed.
I'll take it over there. I'll take it in
the what?
Nothing.
Okay. So for you guys who haven't been around very long or haven't been a part of the Discord, one of my favorite parts of it is the Legends of the Round Table discussion that we do every week. And basically what we try to do is ask you a question that kind of gets you thinking about something you may not normally think about. So for last week's question, we basically phrased it as the last character that you played on Apex Legends and you go out on a date. That night, you have no choice. You don't get to choose another character. It's just whoever you played goes on a date with you. And I wanted to know how the date went and if there would be a second date. So we had a lot of great answers, just top quality answers. As you can imagine, for a question like that, people got really creative to taking up entire pages on our Discord server.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, they were like the best parts of the week whenever they would come through and we read them. Like it really makes me laugh. So there was one that stuck out in particular. and I just want to call him out and
right?
just
And the
say,
winner is
suck it, Trebek.
which is just an awesome name in general, honestly.
It really is. We have so many good names on the Discord. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
So if you're listening, suck it, Trebek, which I know you are. Great job, man. I'm going to read yours out loud, and I'm going to try to do my best to do the voices and stuff. But I really think this answer, if I forgot everything else throughout my week, I remembered this because I was literally in the back of our office that we have, and where it is, it's a really, really hollow wall right there that goes out to our clients. And I laughed out loud so hard they actually asked what was so funny. So anyway, for you, if you would just go ahead and contact us on Discord, you can either at the Thread Ep.3 staff or send one of us a private message. We'll go ahead and get you your prize for being this week's winner. So Sucket Trebek says, so boy, do I have a story for you guys. I'm a guy who's been a little lean on the date scene lately. So I went to legendmatch.com and set up a quick profile where every date is legendary. He puts that in quotes because that's the tagline for legendmatch.com.
Nice.
I'd say that was definitely an accurate description of my evening that followed. Now, first of all, I won't interrupt the story too much more after this, but I will say excellent intro. That was quality.
Creating
that
your
was
own
the part
dating site, like
you
that's
did.
awesome.
You did, and I haven't yet, and I'm kind of scared to, but I almost wonder if it's a real website. But anyway, so last night, this is the continuation of the story. So last night, I'm flipping through my matches, which was a meager list at best, and only one profile stood out to me. I live life in the fast lane. Want to join me? Then hop on the Ock train. The line caught my interest, but there was no photo. After weighing the options and reading through her interest, which included thrill-seeking, running, and explosives enthusiast, as well as a description of Latin, edgy, and leggy, I decided to pull the trigger and flip the old rusty coin. Who am I to be so picky? I didn't even upload a pic of myself yet at all. All I knew is she went by the name Octane. Spicy, and I like it. So I'm at the bar waiting for my leggy Latina babe to arrive, and I hear the door kick open with a loud bang, followed by hoots of joy. Woohoo! Yeah, baby. The crazy guy busts into the room with a whirlwind of excitement and energy. He plops down by me at the bar, flinging some green vial behind him with a comical glass smash heard behind us. I say, man, what an interest. What an entrance. What has you so hyped? That's when it all came to a head as he says to me, I've got a hot date, amigo. Met this chica on Legend Match, and I can't help myself, man. After I confirmed my suspicions, a few Lieutenant Dan jokes, and a copious amount of beer later, we were laughing it off and having a great time. What a beautiful story so far, by the way. This is just so well thought out. We decided to make the best of it and just pal around town and get hammered. Now, at this point, the rest of the night gets a bit hazy. He'd offer me one of those green vial things. Oh, man, what a rush. So I'll just bullet point the bits that I can remember. I remember sprinting from bar to bar shirtless, making lots of shady, Speedy Gonzalez jokes, and drunkenly practicing my broken high school Spanish. Next thing I knew, we were on a roof at some point, and he pushed me off only to land on some bounce pad thing, which sent me careening into a dumpster. Not gonna lie, I wasn't even mad. That shit was hilarious. And I didn't even feel a thing with that green wonder juice. Gotta figure out where he gets that from. I think there was a bar fight with the bouncer, and Octane started running in circles around this guy and proceeds to wedgie every guy that he saw there. We beat feet. Oh, yeah, sorry, misread. We beat feet when the cop showed up, though. Not sure this green stuff was entirely legal, but I digress. So all of a sudden, this morning, I woke up. There's a metal leg lodged in my ceiling. Green vials litter the room. Mi español parece haber miedo expirante. Faster, faster, faster. I spray painted on my bedroom wall in neon green. Honestly, to tell you the truth, all I'm wondering is he going to call?
An apt winner to the question.
Indeed.
Definitely.
Indeed. So shout out to you, Suck It Trebek. That was great. And honestly, one of the best parts of my week. So for those of you wondering, we do it in such a format that I come up with a question that we then ask. Typically, Nick and Nate answer. And then you guys have the chance to answer. But this week, you are so blessed to be hearing me talk to you. So I'm going to give you the question myself. I'm also going to answer it, and I'm going to have Nick answer it. So this week's was a little less silly, if you will. And basically it is, if you could change one thing about Apex Legends as a whole, what would it be and how would you change it?
Oh, so, no, we just got done saying how much we loved about the game. Now we're going to have to be like, oh, this is what I want changed.
Well, it doesn't have to be necessarily anything super negative, right? You could change the silliest thing inside the game, right? You could add anti-gravity guns if you wanted to. So whatever your decision is, I'm curious, and I'm sure you're pondering it now as I just told you the question. I already thought about my answer.
Go for it.
So mine is actually kind of on the negative side, but if I could change one thing.
You promised.
I know, I betrayed you. If I could change one thing about the game, the only thing I would touch, honestly, is the client in which it runs on PC. It runs through a service called Origin. And for those of you who aren't familiar or who play on console, Origin is not the best client platform to be running a game on. It is wholly owned by Origin, who is a subsidiary of EA. And it tends to be very focused towards buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that, and less towards friends. We still don't have an option in game where we can even add recent squad mates that we've played with as a friend. Like we don't have that ability. Either we look at and remember their name, or we don't play with that person again.
Hold on. You said you haven't played it in a while. There was an update that lets you do that. So is that not on the PC yet?
I didn't notice it. Of course, I haven't tried to add a recent squad mate. So
okay, I wanted to let you know, just so that you don't sound like you're uninformed. So we can cut this part out so that I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, so I'll pick up from the Origin client because I can still change it. So basically, the Origin client, for those of you who don't know or who play on console, is the client.
Oh, shut up! That was a low jab. I'm like intrigued in your story, and then you just have to go haymaker, boom.
PC Master Race. We have a client that launches the game individually. It's not like its own thing, and that client is owned and run by EA. And for me, it typically doesn't do all the things we need it to do. They're slowly updating it and slowly adding parts that we've been asking for a while. And to be fair, it's obviously only been out for 2 months since the game has. But I do believe that if it was on a more recognized client like Steam or even its own self client, right, that would be that.
Sorry.
Honestly, at this point, I want to change my answer. I would like the change to be that they have to run through Epic's client. Yes, we'll just stick with that, everybody. But seriously, I would take it off of Origin. That would be my one thing I would change. What about you, Nick?
I would like, and the reason this is coming up is because Blackout, I didn't play it because I'm pretty much done with it, but I heard about it. But Blackout had a limited time mode that you play on Alcatraz. And then from my understandings is you can die up to like 5 times, and when you get spawned back, you get spawned back with a pistol, and so you still have to do the same thing that you would do with a regular respawn, which is, loot, get your loot back or whatever, but you at least spawn with the pistol. And so I'd like to see something similar with that, especially if we could get like a really urban area, because there was already talks about an urban area and how it was going to be a lot more like buildings and stuff like that. So if we could have something similar in the sense of the Alcatraz mode, where instead of just being down and out and then hoping somebody gets your beacon, instead of that, you do get respawns. Excuse me. But you get a limited number of respawns. I feel like that could be a really interesting thing to try out. Will it work? As far as I've heard, it's kind of, it depends on who you talk to, and it also depends on who's still playing Blackout. Hey-o! But yeah, it just, the concept itself is actually kind of intriguing. Like, because one thing I don't like about necessarily, and this goes for any battle royale or any game mode. So even like, I guess a really good example would be like Rainbow Six, for instance. A lot of their game modes don't let you respawn. And the main reason I don't like most games like that is because, once again, we'll go back to the whole thing, I'm not that great of a player, so playing a game mode. So let's say we'll go back to Rainbow Six Siege. Playing a game mode, granted, they're only like, what is it, 3 to 4 minutes long if you wait it out or something. So granted, it's not super long. Yeah. I am almost done. I am very, very, very close to being done. Okay. Okay, sweetie. I swear I'm almost done. Let's go, sweetie. Okay. I promise I'm almost done. I'll be out in a little bit. I promise. Okay. I'm sorry, baby. Do you know a good spot I could start back at? Can't really remember. What was I talking about?
You were going back and forth. You were on the Rainbow Six Siege point with the respawns.
Oh, respawn. So being able to respawn, not being able to respawn. I'm not that great of a player. So when I go in and then I just immediately die, even though it might be, especially for Rainbow Six Siege, I think it's only like 3 or 4 minutes long if you wait it out the entire time. Even though it's still just like, I'm sitting here, I'm waiting, and I would hate to compare this to Call of Duty, because obviously it's absolutely in no way like Call of Duty. But one thing about Call of Duty is that you're right back in the action right away. Or even Battlefield, let's compare it to something a little bit more EA. Battlefield, there is a timer, and sometimes, like 5 seconds, I want to say, something like that, and so you're still not directly back in the fight or whatever, but you still at least go back into the fight. And in that particular sense, you have a certain number of respawns you're allotted, but obviously there's 64 of you or whatever. But having something similar to that, where I can still be crappy at the game, but also have a chance of having a clutch moment. Maybe I have 5 life, or I have only 1 life left, and the other, team has like 3, and I somehow be able to pull it off that way. Like it I don't know. It'd be interesting. And I really feel like it'd have to be just like the Alcatraz, where it's a limited time mode, because I don't know, but it would be something nice to try, I think. And I mean, I feel like maybe that's another thing that I could subgenre that I could put this under is just limited time modes. I would like some more of those. So if it starts off with this one, that'd be awesome. We get this new map, this new mode to try out, and we get to explore the map. We get to explore this new mode, and we just gotta have fun with it. And it'd be just a way to kind of spice up the game and give me something that I'm not used to. But when I'm not in the mood for Apex proper, I can just go to this side mode and just do it for poops and giggles.
Right. Yeah.
So
I think that's a valid point, and they may introduce stuff like that as we go on, obviously.
Oh yeah, definitely. Right.
So solid answer. So if you guys do have an answer, we have a section in our Discord where you can go in there and post. We get all sorts of great answers. Good discussion goes on there. So feel free to jump in there and go ahead and do that. Obviously, as with Suck It, Trebek, we do read our favorite, and that favorite does get a prize. So it's definitely worth your time to do.
Indeed. All right. So a little bit more meaty of a hop up cast, which I like. I like this one's a little bit more loosey goosey. We can go a little bit long, we could go a little bit short, it just depends. So yeah. So I thank you guys so much for joining this. If you guys have your top reasons for coming back to the game, we would like to know that. If you would like to enter in the competition, once again, just go to our Discord. Once again, it is the top thing. Not only is it the top thing in the Twitter link, but it's also in the description. So whether you're on Spotify or whatever you're on, in the description of this episode, we always have the Discord link. And so whether it's a clickable link or you have to highlight and copy and paste or something, then you'll be able to find it somehow. And we're definitely getting more and more of you guys in there. So don't feel like, you've missed the buck, so to speak. We're always getting new people in there, and there's always reasons to do it, like Legends of the Round Table or other giveaways. And then I'm going to throw this out there. If you like what we do here and you just can't get enough of us, you're like, gosh, these guys are so awesome, and I just want to be there for everything they do. Nerd to the Third is a podcast where we talk about literally anything nerdy that we want to talk about. We talk about video games, movies, and nerd culture in general. And it's something that we really passionate about just as much as Apex. And so it's something we have a lot of fun with, and we would really like it if you guys tried that out too, because then that kind of just gives you more Nick and Nate, and it gives you more Link. Nick and Nate is always kind of the central Threat X3 Productions, but you obviously get a lot more. Coach is freaking awesome, and he actually has his own podcast, Movie Fix, where we talk about movies only. But Nerd to the Third is the kind of the central hub for just anything nerdy. So if you guys would go check that out for us, we would absolutely love us. Tell us what you think about it, because that's one we're definitely kind of looking to maybe mix it up a bit and figure out what can we do to kind of stand apart from other people. So if you guys wouldn't mind checking that out and kind of giving us some, thoughts on it, what do you think about it? What do you think we could change about it? We'd love to know, because we're definitely at a point with that one in particular where we would like to evolve it in new ways and find new things to do with it. Other than that, I think that's going to be it. You know what, Link? Thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. It has been an honor gracing you with my presence.
And I am so graced by your presence of honoring me.
You should be.
And thank you guys for tuning in to this pop-up cast. All right, we're going to see you down in Kings Canyon, where it's going to be legend. Wait for it. All right, good. Stop. In the name of love. Before you break my heart.
I just had a huge delay on the actual stop there. That was weird.
That's all right. It's okay. No worries. No worries. Not even worry about it.
Oh, God, dude.
I'm fine.
I'm fucking tired.
Yeah, that's right. It's what is it? It's 11 there?
11:30.
Oh, God damn, dude. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I know how that feels. That's how late we were up for the last Hubcast proper.
Nice.
Shit, it's all gets good. Real here at Thread X3 Productions. Schedules and mother flubber. I swear to God, I was on a different thing, but apparently I wasn't. Ugh, I hate when this happens. So post show. Post Malone.
Oh, I got a topic for the post show.
All right, let's do it.
So, full discretion for you guys. You guys are the first 3 to hear this outside the staff. We didn't cover it on the show. Don't panic. It's all good. I kind of saw it, but we were running late on time. Anyway, we have our first, I would call it, outside major sponsor.
Oh yeah.
And so what it is I'm sure you're all familiar with Loot Crate. Loot Crate offers sponsorship deals where they do give different personalities links and stuff like that to actually sell their product, to where you would click on the link in our description. We would then get a portion of those proceeds, whether it's 5%, 10%, whatever. Luckily, from a previous venture, I happened to be in contact with a person who works with Loot Crate. And we have gotten that plus a few extras that are going to benefit us really, really well this coming month. So they have been so awesome as to sponsor us, and we are in the process of figuring out how to, I guess, shout them out properly. We haven't obviously announced it publicly yet. So once we do, though, that'll be exciting. So that's kind of our major announcement right now.
Yeah,
it's on the horizon. Spoiler, if you will.
Yeah, it's definitely something, and I've said this before to like you guys privately, so now you guys get to hear it. Hey-o. But it's definitely something that I'm super excited for, because I feel like it definitely adds a layer of like legitimacy to us. You know, because I mean, there's plenty of people out there who will like us just because we make good content. But then there's also going to be people out there that may be on the fence. So having a sponsorship as big as this can make us look legitimate. And who knows, maybe that makes them want to invest in us more, whether that be monetarily or just by supporting us, by listening to more of our stuff. And so I'm not necessarily saying, oh, this is going to get us more Patreons, which it might, obviously, but what I mean is just in general, they might be more active on our Twitter, they might be more active on our Discord if they find out that, oh, these guys are serious, because that's one thing that can be the hardest about any kind of business venture, is making somebody take you seriously. And so having a big sponsor like this is a big deal, because even if it doesn't necessarily pay the bills, like we can't quit our jobs tomorrow because thank God Loot Crate's paying our bills. That's, but it is a huge step in the right direction.
Right. Yeah. The other thing I'd say to the Patreons, the Council of Patreons, would just be for you 3 personally, if you could reach out to us in that little Patreon chat we have and kind of give us some feedback as far as what you think overall, specifically regarding to the Patreon itself, we're doing right or we could do better. As you noticed, probably we're trying to plug it a little bit more so that we can do more for the community. But we want to make sure that we're doing well. And as far as I know, all 3 of you are very, obviously you're very active, but you all also watch every single pre and post show. You're all very on top of it. You're as Nick hated on you, and I love you for, you're on top of us, riding us really hard about when we're going to get certain content
next
out.
Episode out. Give it to me. Give it to me now, man. Give it to me. Give it
to me. And anyway, so we appreciate that, and not every person who signs up for Patreon is going to be like that, but we kind of want to know what your thoughts are, what we could do better, and then also if you're enjoying it, right? Like, tell us what you enjoy about it, because that's something we can push to other people to get it to where it's just not you three. As much as I love you three,
Right.
if our Patreon chat had 5 to 6 people, it would be a lot more worth it, if you will. So that's something that I'd kind of love to hear from you guys personally.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously I make a lot of jokes, and hopefully you guys understand that I'm just jabbing, I'm just getting you guys. I don't actually mean any of it. All of it is just, me being facetious.
I'm
Facetious. Tried to do my best impression of United States of America. I'm being facetious. Anyways, but yeah, I really do appreciate you. I feel like other people can articulate better than me when it comes to the mushy stuff, and I'm just like, your mom. So, but yeah, I do feel like this is the perfect format and to do it with. And thank you guys for being there for us, for kind of like Link, you said it in the last Nerd to the Third, but it's like you're not just there. I mean, you very well could just be giving us money. Here's my money, shut up and give me content. But instead, you guys are actually actively trying to help us out, like Math Cop in general. Which if the other two of you are doing it as well, then I'm sorry I haven't noticed. But Math Cop in general has been like on Twitter constantly. There is somebody talking about Division, and he's like, "Oh well, Thread X3 Productions likes Division. You should talk to them." And I'm like, "Dude, my boy."
Yeah,
like going out there, like.
Another shout out for the other two that I noticed specifically. Whenever someone enters the Discord channel,
Yes,
my thing has always been we should welcome them. We should have a conversation with them. We should find out stuff about them. Unfortunately, with life, that's not always possible, but it never fucking fails.
Never.
Danny Z always has a GIF in there waiting for somebody.
I
and
like
I
how
don't
you
know.
fucking banned him.
I banned him from GIFs for about 5 minutes because seriously, every time somebody joined, he was right there with it. And then obviously, I'm not gay, I'm Kevin. One of the biggest things he brings is I've noticed, and I'm not sure how factual this is. I think Xbox is our least kind of played console as a community. I think a lot of our viewership and obviously our hosts are on PlayStation.
Right.
To where Xbox kind of gets neglected. So I started the club, and he was inviting people. He's played with people. He's always playing with people on Xbox for us. And obviously his name is I'm Not Gay, I'm Kevin. So he's contributing in that way alone. So it's just everybody brings a piece. And it's like Nick said, you don't just pay us and say, give me a podcast. You genuinely, if you didn't pay us, you would still be helping us because that's how much you do for us.
Yeah, I would hope so. I would hope if you didn't pay us, you would still do it. But yeah, I mean, it is just like, funnily enough, and I'm not saying that you're going to get a job out of this, but funny enough, that's how we got like one of our team members. He was literally the first guy to ever give us a Patreon. Like, I made some joke about like, well, if you want to know that, you should go, give us a tip on Patreon. Then boom, I get this email. T-Fulls is, $3. And I'm like, oh, hey, and I mean, he has a lot of life stuff going on. Like if T-Fulls is the guy that got engaged or whatever. So he has a lot of life stuff. He hasn't been able to like help out a lot, but like, that's how we found him. Same thing with Link we found through, the podcast itself, but obviously, look where that got us. Look where that got us.
Biggest mistake you've ever made.
Biggest fucking mistake. I look down at you from my ivory tower, and I'm just like, him, cut his head off.
Hey, random question for you. One sentence.
I'm glad that triggered you. You're gonna cut my head off. I might as well ask one question before you cut my head off.
Yeah, one sentence. Just one sentence. You got to limit yourself. Ready? Okay. This is the tough part.
All right.
Paul Rudd as an actor, go.
I don't know. It's hard.
Is that your sentence? That's your sentence.
Yeah. Paul Rudd is
I don't know. It's hard.
It's hard.
How to review Paul Rudd
in your vag.
So for these
Paul Rudd, Paul Rudd is better now. Okay. That is my sentence.
That's fair.
Like I feel like, you know, back in the day he did I mean, like the biggest one he started off was with Friends. Or at least I feel like that's the one that maybe got him known. Obviously he was doing stuff before Friends, but I'm just saying in general, like that's the one that maybe got the more general public to know who he was. So he started there and he did a lot of funny stuff. And even though he still does funny stuff, he's starting to do more serious stuff. And so I feel like the actor he is nowadays is loads different than the actor he was, you know, years ago. If you haven't seen it already, go to Netflix and watch The Fundamentals of Caring. It's funny for sure, but there's also some like really serious stuff in it too. And so his acting in that is phenomenal. And the fact that, you know, not a lot of people might even know what that movie is because it's on Netflix, and you know, who knows how many people actually take that serious. I do, because I champion Netflix to the day I die. But go check it out. I highly recommend it. It's one of those kind of road trips, getting to know yourself kind of movies. And so it's Paul Rudd, and he's with the character that has some kind of, I want to say either scoliosis or something, but basically he's stuck in a wheelchair. And so that's kind of what it centers around, is they go on I almost said field trip, but they go on a road trip together, and it's kind of like a discover yourself movie. And his acting in that particular, you know, is just really good. And you can see that I don't want to say he didn't take it serious before, because plenty of funny actors can take comedy serious, but I want to say, like, you know, he's one of the few comedy actors that can go into a serious role. And it's like, you know, he's enough of an everyman where it's not so far of a jump where it's all like Jim Carrey's doing, you know, some weird, you know, thriller. What is this, you know?
All right.
The Fundamentals of Caring. Go check it out on Netflix.
Thank you for your 9 sentences. Did
I need it up a bit?
You know, the funniest thing,
I'm not going to choose one sentence. I'm going to choose 9.
Little inside thing. When I first came on to the group, I asked both Nick and Nate a series of just random questions, because it kind of lets me know who they are and how they think. And honestly, you could tell the difference between Nick answering something and Nate answering something. I would ask Nick, I'd be like, hey, best Star Wars movie. He'd say, what did you say? I think you said 5, right? I believe you said 5, if I remember right.
No, because that's New Hope, and I don't like New Hope. It's boring as shit.
What did you say?
I want to say it was probably Return of the Jedi. I like Return of the Jedi.
Okay. So we'll use that as an example. See, you said Return of the Jedi. I asked Nate the exact same question, word for word. Hey, Nate, best Star Wars movie. I don't know. Episode 1 wasn't that great. Episode 2 was horrible. But at the same time, and I got like a whole explanation. And at the end, I said, so what's your favorite Star Wars movie? He goes, I don't really think I have one. I said, I don't really have any more questions, Nate. Right. But yeah. So I enjoy asking random thought-provoking questions like the Paul Rudd thing. By the way, you mentioned his acting. I was really impressed with his acting in This Is 40. I thought he did really well in that movie.
Indeed.
On side note.
All right. That's your post show. Bye, bitches.